Lam Fong was born in a poor village in the windswept Central Plains. But even as a child, he saw the world differently. While other kids played in the sand dunes, he sat by the riverbank, watching how the current curved around stones and still found its way to the sea. That simple observation shaped the mind of a boy who would one day become a brilliant strategist of the revolution. When Fong turned 17, the country was drowning in war. Villagers left their homes to join the resistance, carrying dreams of independence in their weary footsteps. Watching them, Fong felt a fire ignite inside him. He didn't rush to the front lines. Instead, he chose to fight with the sharpest weapon he owned: his mind. Upon joining the youth force, he immediately stood out. Maps, supply routes, and logistical plans that confused seasoned soldiers seemed to open themselves up to him. Within a year, the 18-year-old became the one everyone turned to when strategy was needed. As battles intensified, enemy forces constantly cut off the supply lines. Each loss struck the unit's morale like a hammer. But Fong refused to surrender. He spent days studying the terrain, listening to hunters describe forgotten forest paths, and sketching new routes no enemy would expect. Then, in a stormy night lit only by flashes of distant explosions, he proposed a daring idea: we go underground. His commanders stared at him in disbelief. But Fong explained calmly that while the enemy controlled the rivers and mountains, they couldn't block a path built by the hands of those who refused to lose. Under his guidance, the team dug a narrow tunnel through a low hillside, just wide enough to move essential supplies. That tunnel saved countless soldiers on the front lines. Word spread quickly about the young mind behind the miraculous route. People began calling him the bright brain of the revolution. As the war grew fiercer, Fong was entrusted with creating a plan to outsmart an overwhelmingly powerful enemy force. He noticed their greatest weakness: arrogance. He devised a 3-layer strategy: false signals left along mountain trails, a sudden disappearance of our forces into hidden safe zones, and finally, a coordinated strike from 3 directions when the enemy thinned out in search of us. The plan worked flawlessly. That victory marked a turning point, one many later said changed the fate of the region. Peace finally returned when Fong was only 28. While others expected him to rise to a high position, he declined every honor and returned to his quiet village life. When asked why, he simply smiled and said, "I did what had to be done." Freedom itself is the greatest reward. To the villagers, he became more than a former strategist. He was a symbol of youthful courage, sharp intelligence, unwavering patriotism, and gentle humility. Children often gathered around his small riverside home, listening to stories of the silent battles of strategy and the meaning of responsibility. Sometimes he would look at them and ask the same question from his childhood: why does the river always reach the sea, no matter how many obstacles stand in its way? The children would think deeply, and then Fong would answer with a soft smile: because it never gives up, and neither should you.